Hi Angels. This will be the chapters 28 of You Are My Heroes by Lavender Thoughts 21 on AO3. Hearing aid trouble. Something happened. Aizawa isn't sure what triggered it, but Katsuki is currently crying in the corner of the living room. 1 second, he was happily playing make-believe with Izuku on the living room floor. The next, he was in the corner chewing on his silicone crystal. Aizawa rushed over, turning off the music to better hear the boys. Katsuki, what happened? Aizawa asked the boy who didn't respond. Bakugo was facing the wall with his arms wrapped around his knees. Kachan, was I mean again? Izuku was behind Aizawa, unsure if he did something to make Bakugo sad again. Katsuki? Aizawa asked louder just in case the boy couldn't hear his soft tone. Still, Bakugo didn't turn. Aizawa walked closer to check on the boy, his shadow briefly going over the boy. To this, Bakugo was startled, looking back at the man with tears in his eyes. What happened? Aizawa asked, but Bakugo just whimpered again. Kakan is hurt? Did something hurt? Izuku raised his voice and walked closer to Katsuki. Are you hurt? Aizawa asked with raising concern. He was keeping an eye on the boys while he finished cleaning the kitchen, but something might have happened between glances. Need Dad? Bakugo voiced out, but streaks of tears came with it. Uncle, still gone. Auntie too. Izuku talked to Bakugo, his hands together as he rocked on his tiptoes nervously. Need Dad? The blonde cried again, looking up at Aizawa, who didn't know what to say. Katsuki knew of his parents' fate, but possibly didn't know of the permanence of death. Aizawa was cut off when Bakugo started to cry more. Can't? Bakugo whined. Izuku stopped fidgeting for a moment as he realized what his friend meant immediately. Can't, but Uncle is not here. Izuku started to talk even louder, challenging Aizawa's ears. Can't what? What does that mean? Aizawa questioned the boys, kneeling to get to their level. Kachan can't hear, Izuku told the man, his eyes frantic as he shook his hands around nervously. Bakugo, you can't hear? Aizawa asked the blonde, who looked back at him with confused, teary eyes. Uncle is not here when he hear. Kakan can't hear till Uncle comes back. Izuku started to cry as he talked, his eyes shining with tears. Midoriya's movements became frantic as he paced around, thinking of a way to help but finding none. Deku? Bakugo questioned his friend's behavior. The blonde's breath became deeper as he looked wide-eyed up at the man. It was clear that Izuku's panic was making the boy even more anxious about the unknown things being said. Izuku, darling, it's okay, I can help, don't cry. You're making Bakugo worry. Aizawa patted Izuku's green hair, showing Katsuki that he wasn't being aggressive. You know to help Kashin? Midoriya asked, as he wiped the remaining tears threatening to spill from his eyes. Bakugo, let me see your hearing aids. Aizawa motioned his hands to his ears and placed out his hand to revive them. Katsuki couldn't read lips, but recognized the command. Bakugo turned around fully and wiped the remaining tears from his eyes. Sniffling, the boy took out his hearing aids and handed them to Aizawa. The man took a look at his hearing aids and walked to the counter in the kitchen, disassembling it for a second to take out the empty battery. In his kitchen drawer, he pulled out 2 replacement batteries from a fresh pack. Luckily for the boys, Aizawa was very good at his job. The second he saw Bakugo's hearing aids, batteries were the first thing on his grocery list. Luckily, Tsukauchi provided some medical records that held the type of hearing aid Bakugo was using and its battery type. It took a couple of minutes to properly clean the aid and change the battery. The way Bakugo was slowly getting closer told Aizawa the blonde was nervous. Izuku, on the other hand, was rambling very loudly behind Katsuki, telling his friend that it was okay. Bakugo heard some of what Izuku was telling him, not being completely deaf, but caught on when he saw Aizawa replacing the batteries. Come here. Aizawa motioned Bakugo over with his hands, and the boy quickly ran to him. Hesitancy gone. The man leads the boy to the bathroom, taking out a case from behind the mirror. Bakugo reached for his hearing aids as the man wasn't looking, but Aizawa shook his head no. To this, Bakugo frowned, his eyes darkening as nerves grew. The man pointed to his ear and motioned him forward again. The blonde just tilted his head, not knowing what to do. I need to clean your ears, Aizawa mouthed, despite not being sure if the boy could read lips. Still, he opened the plastic case and pulled out some Q-tips. Kneeling again, Aizawa slowly went to gently hold Bakugo's head. To this, the blonde took a couple of steps back and gave the man a sneer. Izuku was behind him, not crossing the doorway of the bathroom. What doing? Izuku questioned. I need to clean his ears so his hearing aids won't be dirty, Aizawa explained as he cleaned the wax from Bakugo's hearing aids. The blonde looked on in confusion as the man messed with the device. Ears get dirty. Izuku sounded distressed, and he immediately scratched at his right ear with his tiny fingers. Don't do that, you'll hurt yourself. Let me clean your ears so Katsuki knows it's safe. Aizawa beckoned Izuku closer, throwing away the dirty Q-tip and grabbing a new one. It hurt? Izuku questioned, and Aizawa shook his head no. It will feel funny but won't hurt, Aizawa reassured, and Izuku nodded, walking next to the man. Izuku tilted his head up, and Aizawa softly grabbed his face, positioning it. Bakugo looked on his face, confused about why Midoriya was being so obedient. Slowly Aizawa cleaned Midoriya's ears. The boy instantly flinched at the new sensation. Tickles! Izuku let out a giggle and shook his head from left to right rapidly. I know, but try not to move, okay? Or it might hurt, Aizawa explained softly as he softly cleaned the boy's ear again. Now the other one, Aizawa said as he threw away the dirty Q-tip. Midoriya nodded and twirled around so Aizawa could clean his other ear. All done, Aizawa exclaimed with a smile. All clean, Midoriya asked as Aizawa. All clean, good job on not moving, buddy, Aizawa praised, and Midoriya's eyes shined. It's hard because it tickled, but I did not move. Izuku spoke out about the situation with a wide smile. Very good. Do you think you can get Katsuki to come over? Aizawa asked for help from the kid, knowing it was his best shot. Bakugo was still looking on a bit confused, but Midoriya grabbed his arm and pulled it with a smile. Come on, Kachan. Aizawa is safe, Midoriya urged on, unknowingly softening the man's heart with his words. After a couple more tugs, Bakugo let Midoriya walk him to Aizawa. The blonde sneer was replaced with worried eyes and a wary expression. With Izuku holding Bakugo's hand, the blonde furrowed his eyebrows before closing his eyes. Gently, Aizawa reached out and grabbed Katsuki's chin. The boy jumped at the contact. Nevertheless, the boy held bravely still as Aizawa tilted the boy's head to the side to clean his ear. The instant the Q-tip tickled Bakugo's ear, the boy's eyes shot open, and he shook his head at the funny feeling. Bakugo looked at Izuku for reassurance, but the boy just giggled at the reaction. It's okay, let's try again, Aizawa said loudly, and Bakugo seemed to understand because he closed his eyes and tilted his head. Softly, Aizawa touched the boy's head again to get a better grip in cleaning his ears. While he was at it, he checked behind and around his ear for irritation due to his hearing aids, but thankfully didn't find anything. Bakugo let his ears get cleaned, but Aizawa found the results concerning. Unlike Midoriya's healthy yellow earwax, Bakugo's was strangely dark and black. Aizawa made a quick note in his phone for the next foster to take him to the doctor for a checkup, not only because of the earwax, but to make sure his hearing was where it was supposed to be. Aizawa handed Bakugo his hearing aids, and the boy comfortably placed them back on. Is that better? Aizawa asked, and the blonde's eyes shined. Can hear, Bakugo said excitedly and looked back at Izuku. Kachan can hear again! Kachan! Ears feel funny when cleaning, right? Don't look in trash, it gross, Izuku, excited to be heard again, spouted off. Bakugo, however, looked up at Aizawa, questions clearly in his mind. What is it, Katsuki? Aizawa asked softly, returning to his nurturing tone now that the boy could hear again. You can fix? Bakugo asked, tapping his hearing aids. Yes, your dad and mom fixed it, and I can too. It just needed batteries, Aizawa explained, but the boy shook his head no. Dad fix it, mom not know. Scary. Scary? Aizawa asked, and Izuku quieted down, hearing the conversation turn serious. No, here scary, I understand, but I fixed it, Aizawa reassured. Uncle is only one who can fix it. Kachan said it is scare because one time Uncle left for a long time, and his hearing broke for a long time. Auntie got mad a lot. For a long time I talk all by myself. Izuku put forth his own thoughts, which again enraged Aizawa. It was a simple task to change the boy's hearing aid batteries. It was clearly a lazy choice to refuse to. Thought never hear again. Bakugo pouted as the words left his mouth. Never? But Uncle and Auntie will come soon. It not never, just a little bit of time. No more scare, okay? Mr. Aizawa know how fix. It okay, Izuku calmly reassured the blonde, but it just made Bakugo sadder because he knew the truth. I'm sorry, Katsuki told Aizawa, and the man was confused. Why are you sorry? Feel bad. Why do you feel bad? Aizawa asked as the boy looked away. Dad do not fix again. Katsuki's lip quivered, but the boy didn't cry instead. He looked angry at himself, but filled with grief. I'm sorry, Katsuki. Your dad won't change your batteries anymore, but I'll help you now, okay? Aizawa said sadly. Midoriya was confused, but stayed silent as he watched Katsuki try to not cry. Bakugo was trembling as he tried his best not to cry, but the grief of knowing his dad won't ever help him again made it impossible to hold back the tears. The boy's shoulders were tense as he held his breath as a last resort to stop his emotions from showing. Katsuki, sweetheart, it's okay. Aizawa slowly reached his hand over to see if Bakugo would accept a comforting hand on his shoulder, but the blonde retaliated with a sharp smack. Bakugo sneered at the man, his eyebrows furrowed as he held back tears. The sudden hostility surprised Aizawa, but he held calm, not wanting to frighten the boys. Izuku let out a short gasp of disbelief as he heard the loud smack, his face grimacing in worry. Aizawa was taken aback, but he knew that Katsuki's feelings were rational. He felt weak for needing help in the first place, and he felt like he betrayed his dad by letting Aizawa fix his hearing aids. The boy was just frustrated and guilt-ridden, big emotions for such a young boy. "Kaken, Aizawa helps! Why mean? Stop!" Izuku raised his voice to his friend, although he took a step back from both of them. Izuku looked on, not sure if Aizawa would respond to the smack harshly. Bakugu's sudden anger vanished as the weight of what he did fell on him. The blonde's eyes widened as he expected the man's retaliation. Instinctively, Katsuki put his hand over his head to protect himself. "That was not nice, Bakugu. That hurt." Aizawa frowned and rubbed his hand. It didn't hurt at all, really, but he wanted to make sure Katsuki understood what he did caused harm. Katsuki was taken back from the calm reaction, and the guilt in his body doubled. Still, the boy held off from apologizing. Instead, he walked away, grabbing Izuku's hand and leaving Aizawa by himself. "Bakugu." Aizawa called out his name, and the blonde paused outside the door. "I'm sorry your dad can't change your batteries anymore. I'm here to help. I forgive you for hitting me, but let's not fight anymore, okay?" Aizawa said. Katsuki let out a huff, not turning to look at the man. Izuku, however, was staring at Aizawa, anxious about what transpired. Katsuki's shoulders tensed as he straightened up. He didn't turn around, but nodded, showing that he heard Aizawa. Bakugu walked away, putting his chew back in his mouth, not wanting to face the man or speak. This is the end of chapters 28. I'll see you in chapter 29. If you have suggestions, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe to know when the next one is out. Have a good day, angels.